We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Where does a thought go when it's forgotten? The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Everywhere I go, I find that a poet has been there before me. Beauty has no obvious use, nor is there any clear cultural necessity for it, yet civilization could not do without it. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. A woman should soften but not weaken a man. Immorality, no less than morality, has at all times found support in religion. Whoever loves become humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. Conscience is the internal perception of the rejection of a particular wish operating within us. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Towards the outside, at any rate, the ego seems to maintain clear and sharp lines of demarcation. There is only one state, admittedly an unusual state, but not one that can be stigmatized as pathological, in which it does not do this. At the height of being in love, the boundary between ego and object threatens to melt away. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. Instinct of love toward an object demands a mastery to obtain it, and if a person feels they can't control the object or feel threatened by it, they act negatively toward it. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. I will cure all the incurable nervous cases, and through you I shall be healthy. Our knowledge of the historical worth of certain religious doctrines increases our respect for them, but does not invalidate our proposal that they should cease to be put forward as the reasons for the precepts of civilization. Aggressiveness was not created by property. He that has eyes to see and ears to hear may convince himself that no mortal can keep a secret. In so doing, the idea forces itself upon him that religion is comparable to a childhood neurosis, and he is optimistic enough to suppose that mankind will surmount this neurotic phase, just as so many children grow out of their similar neurosis. In the depths of my heart, I can't help being convinced that my dear fellow men, with a few exceptions, are worthless. It is impossible to escape the impression that people commonly use false standards of measurement, that they seek power, success, and wealth for themselves, and admire them in others, and that they underestimate what is of true value in life. No, our science is no illusion, but an illusion it would be to suppose that what science cannot give us, we can get elsewhere. The madman is a dreamer awake. Religion is a system of wishful illusions, together with a disavowal of reality, such as we find nowhere else but in a state of blissful hallucinatory confusion. Religion's 11th commandment is, "Thou shalt not question." Where the questions of religion are concerned, people are guilty of every possible kind of insincerity and intellectual misdemeanor. He does not believe, that does not live according to his belief. It is that we are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love, never no helplessly unhappy as when we have lost our loved object of its love. The behavior of a human being in sexual matters is often a prototype for the whole of his other modes of reaction in life. America is a mistake, admittedly a gigantic mistake, but a mistake nevertheless. Neurotics complain of their illness, but they make the most of it, and when it comes to taking it away from them, they will defend it like a lioness her young. The intention that man should be happy is not in the plan of creation. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Men are more moral than they think, and far more immoral than they can imagine. The more the fruits of knowledge become accessible to men, the more widespread is the decline of religious belief. My love is something valuable to me, which I ought not to throw away without reflection. Where it is, there shall ego be. Loneliness and darkness have just robbed me of my valuables. What progress we are making! In the Middle Ages, they would have burned me. Now they are content with burning my books. The creative writer does the same as the child at play. He creates a world of fantasy, which he takes very seriously. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. Dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. Poets are masters of us ordinary men in knowledge of the mind because they drink at streams which we have not yet made accessible to science. The ego is not master in its own house. A love that does not discriminate seems to me to forfeit a part of its own value by doing an injustice to its object. And secondly, not all men are worthy of love. Illusions commend themselves to us because they save us pain and allow us to enjoy pleasure instead. We must therefore accept it without complaint when they sometimes collide with a bit of reality against which they are dashed to pieces. Men are strong so long as they represent a strong idea. They become powerless when they oppose it. When a love relationship is at its height, there is no room left for any interest in the environment. A pair of lovers are sufficient to themselves. There are no mistakes. I had thought about cocaine in a kind of daydream.